If you ask your ex for a second chance and they say no, then what can you do? Do you still have a chance of getting them back, or do you have no choice but to move on? Well, in this video, I'm going to help you answer that question depending on your specific situation. Because the truth is that while you should respect your ex's wishes and give them space, a no doesn't always mean that things are over for good and that you should give up all hope. So we have to determine the context in which your ex said no and then go from there. Because honestly, this isn't as cut and dried as many people make it. But before we really get into this, I will say that you need to take your ex's answer seriously. This means you need to walk away, leave them alone, and give them space. I know it might feel like, if you give them this space, then you're actually going to lose them, but it's really the opposite. Because continuing to contact your ex right now is how you're going to lose them. Giving them space is really your only option, and it will actually draw them closer to you in the long run. I'll talk more about that later on in the video, but now let's talk about what your ex's no really means. Because there are different contexts here. So let's start with a common example. Say, your ex dumps you, and a week later you come to their front door crying, begging for another chance. You say, "Can we please get back together? I need you." And they say, "No, we can't, it's over." Or some variation of this. Now, this is one of the most painful moments you might ever experience, and I don't want to diminish it, but I do believe that in this situation, there usually is still hope. Because, often people will say no in order to get you to leave them alone. That's really what a breakup is in the first place. It means, get away from me, give me space, leave me alone. But this doesn't necessarily mean I'm done with you forever. And this is especially true if it's only been a short time since the breakup, because an ex won't just say no out of the blue without prompting. So that means, you've pursued them following the breakup, and this shows that you're refusing to accept the reality of the breakup, and this can be frustrating for your ex. So basically, they're trying to get you to face the truth and give them space. So with that in mind, you need to look at your own behavior around your ex following the breakup. Did you refuse to accept that it was over? Did you fail to give your ex space? Were you clingy maybe? Did you ask them to get back together? Maybe you demanded an answer? Well, those are all things that will push your ex away. They'll immediately start sending signals for you to give them space. The one-word responses, leaving you on read, not picking up the phone. And eventually, your ex will tell you, "No, leave me alone, stop talking to me," if you continue acting this way. Because really, you've given them no choice. And, I won't lie to you, this is not a good situation to be in if you do want your ex back. I'm sure you know that already, but some people just refuse to accept the truth in this situation. Your chances are slimmer after a conversation like this with your ex, but there are other factors that also play into this. So we've talked about, how much time has passed since the breakup. The longer it's been since the breakup, the more seriously you should take their answer. Because if it's only been a short time, or if this conversation happened during the breakup itself, then you need to take their answer with a grain of salt. Because of course, emotions are running so high during that initial period. We all say things that we don't really mean during the breakup because we're angry, distraught, hurt, and we're more likely to lash out at the other person and try to hurt them. So I'm not saying that you can definitely get them back, but if this kind of conversation happens soon after the breakup, then you may get a different answer once things have cooled off. But you need to know that the more times you've had this conversation and been rejected by your ex, the worse your chances are. Because not only does this mean that their resolve to end the relationship is strong, it's also by having these conversations that you're wrecking your chances with them. Because every time they say no and you don't get the message, they lose some respect for you. Now, every time they hear from you, they know that you're going to make them reject you all over again, so you become a source of stress for them. So stop having these conversations with your ex if you want them back. They're only making things worse. Now, if you're wondering if you've truly destroyed your chances for good, then you need to take my free quiz. You can find it at breakupbrad.com/quiz. It only takes 5 minutes, and it gives you a rating out of 100 based on your chances of winning them back. It also provides you with advice on what to do next, depending on your score. Again, you can go to breakupbrad.com/quiz to take it right now. Now, another factor here is what exactly your ex said to you. Because I know that any rejection may feel like no, but depending on what words they used, your chances of winning them back may be different. So for example, I get a lot of people who are told, now isn't the right time, or I don't know, or I'm just not sure how I feel. Now, none of these feel great to hear from your ex, but they're much, much better than a straight up no. You're looking for a little bit of wiggle room here. But still, now is not the time to try and pull at that thread. You can't argue with your ex or try to convince them with words or that maybe is going to turn into a no faster than you can imagine. So instead, you need to change your approach. As we talked about, give your ex space right now. Ideally, that should be for at least a few weeks so their emotions can settle down and they can start to miss you. Obviously, that's going to be extremely difficult, I won't lie to you, but it's going to be even harder for your ex. They're just as afraid as you are to be alone, but because you're going into this period of no contact intentionally, you really have all the power. So act as if it's over. Act as if you're moving on. Move out, give them their stuff back, and start getting your life back on track. This is, think of it like a tactical retreat. So now is the time really to focus on yourself. Pinpoint the aspects of your life that you're not happy about and do your best to improve them. Hit the gym, pick up a hobby, go back to school, do whatever it takes to get back on a positive path of change and actual growth. Now this honestly works wonders for your chances with your ex. First off, it distracts you from the breakup, which prevents you from wallowing in sadness or reaching out to your ex. And secondly, it gives you confidence and perspective. During a breakup, we can get so focused on our heartbreak that we lose sight of the fact that we have a whole life outside of this relationship. So we feel like we've lost everything, when really we've been given an opportunity to focus on the things that we've been neglecting in our lives. So don't waste this opportunity. And third, it shows your ex that you've got more potential than they ever imagined. As far as they know, you're not miserable the way that they expected. And this alone can be often enough to make your ex actually change how they look at you in a very positive way. So this time apart, it should not consist of you just waiting around for your ex to snap out of it and come back to you, because that's totally counterproductive. Do what needs to be done, and you'll see how it's going to fly by, and your heartbreak will fade that much more. Now, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying give up on your ex just yet, because this is really only the first part of the plan. What I'm saying is that you need to respect your ex's boundaries and give them this space. After a few weeks, a month, maybe even 2 months, then the time will come to reach out to your ex. And now, instead of giving them an ultimatum, bringing up the breakup, or anything like that, you really want to approach them casually, friendly. So send them a text, ask a question, make them laugh, flirt a little bit. You want to keep things light and fun. Your ex needs to see that you're not here to upset their peace. You're here to add to it. And from there, rebuild the connection slowly. You'll find out really soon if your ex is open to meeting you and spending time together, but don't put too much pressure on them at this point. Now, the remaining big question is, if you've done everything right up to this point and they say no again, then what do you do? Well, to be honest, at this point, you really have no choice but to move on. If you keep persisting, you're just going to scare them and cause them to block you or get a restraining order. You're not helping yourself by bashing your head against the wall. That's not to say that a time, won't come in the future when you reconnect. This has happened, but it's not going to be anytime soon, and it's not going to be your choice. Your ex is going to have to decide for themselves what they really want. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and thanks for taking my free quiz at breakupbrad.com/quiz. I'm Breakup Brad. I'll see you next time.